the observers were just showing. I don't know what his upgrades are at. Hopefully they'll show that in a little bit here. And then Arbiter moving solo out to the right side of the map might go for a recall on the third base of mine, but once again, just not very likely to be successful. There's a ton of mines there, there's a ton of turrets. And if this Arbiter goes in, I think it'll just die. I mean, it might get the recall off, but it's just going to cause a lot of his own units to just get murdered by these mines. And here comes the Arbiter, gonna go for the recall, and he gets the recall in, but I suspect... Oh, wow! Oh, wow, this actually is going to be a very successful recall, or at least has the potential to be a successful recall. Not enough mines right in that exact spot, and some of the mines were slightly northern in that base, not able to do as much damage, and Mind is bringing a lot of his forces. They are 2-1 upgraded forces. I would have expected them to be upgraded a little bit more, actually, at this point. And Bisu doing a good amount of damage here. I don't know if I think the SCVs might have been pulled away, but he was able to kill a lot of the turrets, opens it up for yet another recall if he wants to later. And he recalled a probe as well. That's awesome, Bisu. I'm glad you recalled that probe along with the rest of your forces. That's really awesome, I guess. Just a little misclick there by Bisu, I suppose. And now we've got the High Templar coming out, so we are going to see some storms mixed in here. And Bisu is not transitioning to carriers. It looks like he's just going to stick with this ground army that he's been macroing up. Is very, very strong right now. And I suspect that his upgrades are very, very high, whereas mines are only at 2-1. It does look like Bisu's coming in for another recall at the third base, just really going to try and hammer this third base, because he knows Mind is almost mined out. If he can't keep this third base up and running, he's going to be in huge trouble on this recall with a lot of Dragoon heavy this time. Maybe half a dozen Zealots along with a huge number of Dragoons. Going to take down a lot of these turrets. Again, going to open it up for another third recall if he wants to. And but Bisu trying to micro here, but not really having enough room to really micro with his Dragoons. There's just nowhere for them to go, so the tank's doing a lot of damage. But he is able to pick up a couple of the forward tanks, and he's going to make a little bit of room for himself to try and do a little bit more damage as much as he can, take down a couple more of these turrets, maybe a couple more SCVs. This is all just terrible damage right now for Mine. Mine is just taking a little bit of a beating right now. He's going to have to weather this storm. Going to have to try and get to his fourth base at that 5 o'clock position. He's going to absolutely need that. But I think Bisu is going to contest it very, very heavily. Looks like Bisu is taking the natural expansion of that base right now, which will put Bisu at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases if he can keep that, because it looks like he has the natural expansion at the 12 o'clock base as well. And if he takes that other base, that would put him all of the bases on the map. That'd be 9. And another Arbiter recall coming in. Third recall on this spot right now. And Mind is just like, WTF, man, what the hell do you want me to do? And it looks like Mind actually snuck a siege tank into the 12:30, 1 o'clock base, but it doesn't really matter. Only one tank, and it's going to get cleaned up by a Zealot. And an EMP going off here. There was no energy units there. That was simply just to get rid of the shields. He just is that far in such a bad spot right now. Mind's completely lost initiative, completely lost map control after doing so well at the beginning, killing so many probes. I think he made a mistake in not pushing at any point. Like, he has not been on the offensive yet. Mind, like, he hasn't done a true tank push yet. And that's a real problem for him right now. He really needs to do something and try and get some initiative back in this game. I think that's an underrated part of StarCraft that people forget a lot. Is, it's not just about how many units you have or where they are, but how you're using them. Are you on the offensive? Are you on the defensive? It's very, very important. And it looks like finally Mind realizes this, that he's in a bad spot, really needs to try and get a fourth base up and running, and he's going to have to go on the attack. Nice stasis going down, catching a couple of the tanks, and the side vessel, another stasis going off, catching only one tank that time. Looks like he might actually be coming in for another stasis, and another stasis going off. There's a lot of stasis going off. Great storms going off! Oh, storms going off on all these tanks! These tanks are getting obliterated by storms! Great storms coming off. Not enough forces there for Bisu to really clean this up. But I'm sure with his ridiculous Bisu macro that he'll have more than enough forces to clean this up again. And Mind looks like he almost mined out his third base. Looks like Mind is just about starved. And this is great PvT action right now. Pretty much, I don't know if textbook is really the place to say because he lost so many probes early on, but he's doing a fantastic job really. And he's just playing very, very well right now. Bisu is, despite he has had some sloppy mistakes here and there, but he's had so many good plays to counter it that it more than makes up for it. Now he's going on the offensive again, spamming Zealots. It actually is looks like his army is 2-1-1 upgraded, and these tanks actually might be able to take down the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 base of Bisu. But who cares? It's the 8th base. Another stasis going off, catching a couple of the last tanks that Mind has to defend with. And Mind is going to take down this 8th base, but it's too little, I think, at this point. Just not enough, really. Bisu is still mining off of like 4 or 5 bases, and Mind's mining off of like 1. And only for a little bit longer. He really needs to get another base up and running. He needs to solidify this right side, get those 2 bases, and really start getting his macro up and running again, because I am sure that he is not producing out of all of his factories right now, unless he was stockpiling minerals like he was maxed out and was stockpiling for a while. And I think Mind kind of knows that he's in a bad spot right now. He's kind of like shaking his head, you know. Not great body language coming from Mind right now. He knows the trouble he's in. He knows that there's a great chance that he could die to just a bunch of Zealot pushes along with Stasis, really. And I haven't seen any more Arbiters. I wonder where all the Arbiters were for Bisu when I thought he was spamming Arbiters out of like 2 or 3 Stargates. But it looks like they may have all died in that last push. It does look like Mind is moving into the right side base. I'm going to try and take this base at the 3 o'clock expansion. If he can hold it, maybe he can try and work his way back into it. But if he doesn't get this base up and running for a long time, it's just going to be awful for him. There's just no way for him to get his way back in this game. So more Arbiters coming out, and Bisu going to try and push the 3rd base again, where there aren't a whole lot of forces. Mind has transferred so many of his forces to the right side, and I think Bisu's just going to be able to walk right in, waltzing in. Very few forces here, some vultures coming in late, not enough mines at all. And yeah, pretty much all of the tanks for Mind are at the right side, and Mind's just in a whole world of hurt right now. I don't know how he's going to be able to hold on to this. His 3rd base is going to fall. There's just no way that they'll be able to survive against all of these Zealots that are coming in. Absolutely taking this base down, and it looks like Mind is hoping, just hoping maybe that he can hold his natural expansion, and then from there just macro off of the right side base and hope to get back into this. But I don't think it's realistic. I don't think that he really has much of a chance. And Bisu just stone cold Bisu. As he loses probes, he had that face. As he gets recalls, that was his face. As he wins a game, that's the same frickin' face. Bisu is just stone. Look at that. No, expressionless. He's just like. He's just ice cold, man. Doesn't matter what's going on. He just goes about his business. Him and Jaedong are the same way. Like, Flash gets those robo twitches every now and then where you're like, oh yeah, there's something up with Flash. But like Bisu and Jaedong, they're just like statues. Nothing faces them. It's impressive, and they just keep playing and keep trying to find a way to win games, and that's what they do. Bisu getting with the win here for SKT1 in a great game, really, of PvT. So Bisu has the advantage now, 5 games to 3 in the overall standings between these 2 players. Good game. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll be moving on to, I don't know what's next, but there's a couple more games still coming.